Let's move ahead now with the Unit 3 poems. That is, here there will be 2 poems. That is, how to tell wild animals and the ball. Now let's start with the first part. That is, how to tell wild animals. Now, how to tell means we have not to go and say anything to wildlife. It is, how will you identify a particular wild animal? So this humorous poem suggests or tells us some dangerous ways to identify or tell, that is, wild animals. So let's read it aloud, keeping to a strong and regular rhythm. As usual, your textual part, your some difficult word meanings, and the red part in the poem will always suggest you the simple explanation of the poem. Now, if ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast, if he roars at you as you are dying, you will know it is the Asian lion. So it's just a humor part. ये एक्चुअल में तो हम करने वाले हैं नहीं कि भी लाइन के सामने जाके खड़े रह जाओ एंड इफ़ इट रोड्स एंड इफ़ वी आर डाइंग तो मरते मरते पता चलेगा दैट ओ गॉड मुझे किसने मारा, एशियन लायन ने. नो, इट्स जस्ट ह्यूमर. सो टॉनी ओवर यर मीन्स येलोइश ब्राउन कलर, दैट इज द स्किन ऑफ दिस एनिमल. द पोएट इज ट्राइंग टू टेल अस ओवर यर that the readers, that how we can recognize as a reader various animals in the jungles of the east. So in this first stanza, she says that if the reader comes across an animal whose skin is tawny, that is yellowish brown in color, and if that animal roars at you or at him or her so strongly that he can die out of fear, then it means that he has faced, that is encountered an Asian lion. मतलब कि यहाँ पे पोएट हमें क्या कहने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि कैसे वेरियस वाइल्ड लाइफ को हम रिकग्नाइज करें. तो बाय चांस अगर कोई एक एनिमल उसके अक्रॉस आ जाए जिस और उस एनिमल का कलर है येलोइश ब्राउन, और वही एनिमल अगर ज़ोर से चिल्लाए और उसकी ज़ोर से चिल्लाने पे अगर पासर बाय या जो वहाँ से पास हो रहा है वो आदमी मर जाए, इट मीन्स कि उसका सामना किससे हुआ था, एशियन लायन से. सो द पोएटेस हैज ह्यूमरसली एक्सप्लेन द एशियन लायन विच कुड किल अ पर्सन जस्ट बाय रोरिंग. एंड द नेक्स्ट, और इफ समटाइम व्हेन रोमिंग अराउंड अ नोबल वाइल्ड बीस्ट ग्रीट्स यू. नोबल मतलब गुड, हाई बॉर्न, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, फ्रॉम अ नोबल फैमिली, फ्रॉम अ वेरी हाई पोस्ट और वेरी रॉयल फैमिली वी वुड से. सो और इफ सम टाइम व्हेन रोमिंग अराउंड, अगर यहाँ वहाँ भटकते हुए, इफ कोई नोबल वाइल्ड एनिमल कम्स एंड ग्रीट्स यू with the black stripes on his body, that is black stripes on yellow skin, just notice if he eats you. तो जरा ध्यान देना कि क्या वो तुम्हें खाने आ रहा है. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. तब आसानी से पता चल जाएगा कि ये तो वे बंगाल टाइगर हैं. तो डिजर्न मतलब you can easily recognize this animal as a Bengal tiger. So let's see over here. Now the poetess over here explains an animal that roams in the jungle and belongs to a royal clan. That is a royal category. The color of his skin is yellowish with black stripes. Here the poetess also says that if you notice that he kills you and eats you up, it means that you have surely seen a Bengal tiger. This time also, she has used that dark humor to explain how a tiger looks like, because once a person has been eaten up by wildlife, there is no use in deciding which wildlife it is. मतलब कि एक बहुत ही ह्यूमरस फॉर्म यहाँ पे पोएटेस ने बताया है कि अगर उस वाइल्ड लाइफ ने किसी को अगर मार के खा लिया तो फिर उसे समझने की या जानने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी ही नहीं, बिकॉज द पर्सन इज ऑलरेडी डेड नाउ. सो देर इज नो यूज इन डिसाइडिंग और थिंकिंग ओवर दैट विच वाइल्ड लाइफ you have seen, right? If strolling forth, that is walking ahead, a beast you saw whose hide with spots is peppered, मतलब जिसकी स्किन के ऊपर स्पॉट्स हैं, and as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know that it's a leopard. और जैसे वो तुम पे छलांग मारे तो ओ गॉड पता चल गया अब तो कि ये तो है leopard. T will apostrophe over here means it will. It will do no good to roar with pain. अब चिल्लाने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. He will only leap and leap again. मतलब it will keep on jumping on you again. So let's see the word over here. Strolling, as I told you, walking casually. Forth, that is forward. Hide, skin of animal. Peppered, spots on the skin. Leap or leapt, that is to jump ahead on someone. Now the poet says that if you are casually walking in the jungle, वो तो होगा नहीं, जंगल में हम casually walk पे तो निकलेंगे नहीं, but as is a humorous poem, let's accept it that if you are casually walking in a jungle, you will meet an animal who has a skin with spots on it. This animal is so fast that it will jump on you at once, which means that leap matlab it will jump on you. The jumping is a sign or is an indication that it is none other than the leopard. अब उसका तुम पे जंप करना एक क्लियर और नोटिफिकेशन है या इंडिकेशन है कि भाई ये तो और कोई नहीं है, बट ये तो leopard है. Moreover, the poetess adds that if you will cry loudly out of pain, it's going to be of no use, as this animal is going to keep on jumping on you. So in this stanza, the poet has explained the features, the habits or the characteristics of a leopard. And now, very cute animal over here. If when you are walking around your yard, that is the backyard or the lawn area of the house, अगर तुम कहीं वहाँ चल रहे हो अपने backyard में, you meet a creature there, तो वहाँ पे अचानक से you meet a animal who hugs you very very hard, जो तुम्हें बहुत ही tightly गले मिल लेता है, then be sure that yes, this is a bear. If you have any doubts, I guess he will give you just one more gentle touch, that is caress. Now, if you are walking in the lawn area or the backyard of your house, and if you meet a creature which comes and hugs you, that is tightly वो तुम्हें गले मिल जाए, तो समझ लेना कि ये तो bear है. And the poetess also adds that if you are still in doubt regarding understanding or knowing the animal, अगर फिर भी डाउट है कि भाई ये bear है या नहीं, तो easy way क्या है? The easiest way is that he will keep on embracing you, touching you very gently. This act of his will make you sure about its identity. तब बहुत क्लियर हो जाएगा उसके इस एक्शन से. कौन सी एक्शन? कमिंग एंड तुम्हें गले मिलना. प्यार से वो हमें आके गले मिल लेगा, तो ये क्लियर आइडेंटिटी है कि भाई वो कौन है. दैट इज अ bear, right? Now the next. Though to distinguish beasts of prey, a novice might nonplus. मतलब novice मतलब someone, the one who is new at a job, and nonplus मतलब confused. तो though to distinguish beast of prey, अलग अलग ये एनिमल्स वाइल्ड लाइफ को अगर हमें डिस्टिंग्विश करना है, तो एक जो नया नया जो जॉब पे लगा है वो कंफ्यूज होगा. द क्रोकोडाइल यू ऑलवेज मे टेल फ्रॉम द हाइना दस. हाइनास कम विथ मेरी स्माइल, बट इफ दे वीप दे क्रोकोडाइल. तो कई बार हम कंफ्यूज कर देते हैं डिस्टिंग्विश करने में दो एनिमल्स को, जैसे कि हाइना एंड क्रोकोडाइल. हमें लगता है भाई अगर क्रोकोडाइल देखा तो लग रहा है हाइना है तो तुम बोलोगे क्रोकोडाइल है, बट डियर हाइना कैसे कहोगे, कैसे पहचानोगे? इट कम्स विथ मेरी स्माइल्स। लेकिन अगर वो रोए तो कौन है? तो वो है क्रोकोडाइल। द पोएट सेज दैट फॉर समवन हु इज न्यू टू द जॉब ऑफ रिकॉग्नाइजिंग एनिमल, अगर एनिमल्स को रिकॉग्नाइज करने का कोई नया नया काम पे लगा है, किसी का ये पहली बार का काम है, वो पहली बार वो रिकॉग्नाइज करने जा रहा है किसी एनिमल को, एनी पर्सन, then it will be like confused state of mind for that person. He will be puzzled, he will not be able to recognize the animals and that hunt other animals for their food. मतलब वाइल्ड लाइफ को पहचानने में वो ह्यूमन बीइंग कंफ्यूज होगा. So here the poetess is trying to help us out, that is the readers, by telling the difference between two animals. He says that hyenas will be smiling, but if it's a crocodile, it is always in tears. इसलिए तो हम कहते हैं ना मगरमच्छ के आंसू. Both of these animals, however, at the end are very dangerous. And the last one, the true, what will you say? Chameleon या chameleon? ये pronunciation बहुत important है, so find it out. अगर क्लास में होते face to face, is always I give a mini homework. तो चलो, tell me through your voice message that what it is going to be, क या च. Just like chemistry कहते हैं, chemistry नहीं कहते. वैसे ये छोटा सा minute homework I am going to give you today, very interesting. Pronunciation ढूंढ लाना. The true dash is small, a lizard sort of thing. अब ये कैसे दिखता है? Like a lizard. Lizard तो पता ही होगा. He hasn't any ears at all. कान तो होते नहीं इसके. And not a single wing. ना उसके पंख हैं. If there is nothing on the tree, then it is, sorry, I'm not going to tell you. For me today, it will be a dash dash. Right? It is your job to find it out. So if there is nothing on the tree, it is the dash you see. So here the poet says that the next is dash, which is a small creature. It looks like a lizard. But the difference क्या है इन दोनों में? Lizard और dash में? That dash does not have ears and wings. Moreover, the poetess also says that it has the ability to change the color. अब lizard के पास तो ability है नहीं अपना color change करने की, but this creature has the ability to change the color according to the surface on which it is sitting. ये सबको पता ही होगा. Therefore, if you see a tree and find nothing else on it, मतलब कोई भी bird या creature अगर कभी तुम किसी tree पे ना देखो तो समझ लो it must be this creature sitting on it. It has changed its color into the color of that tree. This beautiful humorous poem written by Carolyn Wells. So we will write, it's okay, but I would always prefer poetess also the word to be used. And now very short poem over here. That is the second poem of this unit, the ball poem. A boy loses a ball. It is actually not like nursery rhyme. It is a poem naturally for my 10th standard grown-up children, where there is a message that is left over here. So it's not a humorous poem, of course. It's an interesting one. So a boy loses a ball. He is very upset. जैसे तुम कभी कुछ तुम्हारी कोई चीज़ खो जाती है तुमसे, तो naturally तुम upset तो हो ही जाओगे. It's not only you. It could be me also. I would also get upset. कभी तुमने अपने पेरेंट्स को भी देखा होगा, कोई चीज़ खो जाती है, जैसे तुम्हारे 2 व्हीलर की चाबी, 4 व्हीलर की चाबी कहीं पे रख दी, मिल नहीं रही, तो उस टाइम का सिनेरियो देख लो. घर में बहुत अपसेट लोग हो जाते हैं. A ball doesn't cost much, nor is it difficult to buy another ball. Why then is the boy so upset? Read the poem to see what the poet thinks about, and also let's find out what the poet thinks has been lost and what the boy has to learn from this experience of losing something. अगर कुछ खो भी जाता है तो क्या सीख मिलती है इससे आगे? Let's see about it. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over. There the ball is in the water. Merrily मतलब happily, bouncing मतलब jumping up and down. Now here the poet is talking about a boy who has lost the ball. He wants to know about him and his reaction because he has lost his ball. Further, अब ये पोएट किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? एक बच्चे के बारे में. अब ये पोएट को पता लगाना है, that is he wants to know about this child and his reaction, क्योंकि बच्चे का बॉल खो चुका है. Further, he asked to himself, मतलब पोएट अपने आप से पूछ रहे हैं that what this boy will do after losing the ball. The poet has seen the ball going away from the boy. He says that the ball was cheerfully jumping up and down in the street. And this means that when the ball skipped from the boy's hand, जैसे वो बॉल स्किप हो गया, चला गया उस बच्चे के हाथ से, नीचे गिर गया, it went into the street. और शायद बाद में वही बॉल आगे जंप होते 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 नियर बाय नदी में गिर गया होगा, राइट? एंड no use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. As he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went, I would not interfere, that is, I would not intrude on him. A dime, another ball is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility. So, here we just saw what happens with the boy and his ball. But here when you move ahead, you see various expressions, emotions of the child. Let's see first the difficult word meanings. Grief, that is sorrow. Rigid, matlab fixed. Actually rigid we can also use as a word for stubbornness. That this person is very rigid in his thoughts. मतलब बहुत ही जिद्दी है, stubborn है अपने thoughts को लेके. जो सोचा वो करना ही है, समझाने के बाद भी वहाँ पे कोई फर्क नहीं आने वाला. तो that is called fixed. यहाँ पे हम लेंगे not stubborn but we can say fixed word. Trembling मतलब shaking. Harbor मतलब dock या port. Intrude मतलब invader. कई बार हम intrude को यूज करते हैं, somebody comes and intrudes in your talk, that is interfere करते हैं. Here we can use the word as invader. Dime मतलब 10 cent as in US. Worthless मतलब valueless, useless. So let's see the explanation part. The poet says that there is no use of consoling the boy. अब बच्चे को कंसोल करने से मतलब उसे शांत करने से, उसको समझाने का कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है. तो there is no use of consoling the boy by saying that he will get another ball because he has other balls also with him. He says so because the boy is feeling very sad. He is completely surrounded by sorrow. And why he is sad? Because all the memories of the childhood days went down the harbor with the ball. अब इस बच्चे की मेमोरीज जुड़ी थी इस बॉल के साथ और वो बॉल तो चला गया. So the boy is very sad. Here the poet says that the boy is very sad as the ball, which has now gone in the water, reminds him of his sweet old days या उसकी sweet memories with the ball, of the times when he was playing with it, when he owned that ball. This loss is unbearable for him. अब ये बच्चा बिना उस बॉल के रह भी नहीं पाता, लेकिन दुखी है, चला गया वो बॉल, and he is in sorrow, that is grief stricken. The poet also says that he can't even tell the boy that you take some money from him and go and buy another ball. He says this, why? Because the new ball will not bring the sense of belonging to the boy. जैसे कि तुम्हारी बहुत प्यारी चीज़ खो जाए या टूट जाए, and if your parents tell you don't worry we will buy the same for you, लेकिन वो चीज़ जो टूट गई या खो गई वो तुम्हारे साथ थी लास्ट 5-10 साल से या 2-4 साल से, तो वी गेट कनेक्टेड टू द थिंग्स. You must have experienced it. We get connected very easily to our surrounding, to our house. We are connected to the walls of our house. And इसीलिए तो कभी कहीं पे रहने जाते हैं रिलेटिव्स के यहाँ, फिर भी थोड़े दिनों में लगता है कि नहीं चलो अपने घर जाते हैं. The reason we are emotionally attached to the non-living things also, and that you all must have experienced. तो इस बच्चे को एक नया बॉल ला के देना या उसके लिए पैसे प्रोवाइड करना कुछ मतलब नहीं था, क्योंकि पोएट कहता है कि ये बच्चा उसकी मेमोरीज जुड़ी थी इस बॉल के साथ. Further, the poet also says that the time has come now for the boy to learn the responsibility of taking care of his things. इसका मतलब एक मैसेज भी है यहाँ पे कि अब पोएट कहता है कि इस बच्चे को अब समझ लेना चाहिए कि जो भी चीज़ हमारे पास है उसे संभाल के रखो, एंड डोंट जस्ट टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड, क्योंकि कई चीज़ हमारी लाइफ में हम टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड ले लेते हैं. शायद मैंने पहले भी कहा है तुम्हें यही मेरा वाला डायलॉग कि हमने हमारे लॉकडाउन पीरियड के पहले के डेज हमने टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड लिए थे. हमने काफ़ी हमारे फ्रेंड्स को टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड लिया है. कई बार हम पेरेंट्स को टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड ले लेते हैं. बट डियर चिल्ड्रन, डोंट टेक एनीथिंग फॉर ग्रांटेड. नाउ वी हैव टू बी वेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबल. We have to shoulder the responsibility of taking care of the people and things around us. So very good and great message by the poet. And in this world of possession, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy. मतलब balls कोई या तो छीन लेगा या खो जाएगा हमसे, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. देखो हम अब तक पैसे को हर बार हम मतलब वर्ल्ड ओवर लोग बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंस देते थे पैसे को. टुडे इन दिस लास्ट 2 months व्हाट हैव यू सीन? हाँ, पैसा ज़रूरी है, बट ओवर मनी, हैविंग ऑफ दैट मोर एंड मोर ऑफ मनी, आज तो कुछ काम कर रहा है ही नहीं, राइट? देयर यू आर लॉक्ड अप इन योर हाउस. सो मनी इज एक्सटर्नल. First of all, what we have to learn is don't take anything for granted. Respect everyone. Pick up your responsibility from today onwards. And be a very responsible person, plus very, you can say, dedicated person, hardworking, effort putting in person. Now he is learning. Well behind his desperate eyes, the epistemology of loss, how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know and must know many days, how to stand up after you have faced a loss in your life, written by John Berryman. So, possession, that is, you will see, that is ownership. External, your things with which feelings are not attached. Desperate, hopeless. That is epistemology, matlab knowledge. So let's see what it is. Explanation is provided over here. Here the poet says that the boy will have to learn that in this materialistic world, many of his belongings will be lost. या तो खो जाएगा या कोई छीन के ले जाएगा तुमसे. He personifies the ball as his belongings. मतलब यहाँ पे personification यूज हुआ है. Personification is figure of speech. तो ये एक जो हम लर्न करेंगे हमारे ग्रामर सेक्शन में वेरी सून. तो यहाँ पे बॉल को बताया गया है हमारी लाइफ की बिलोंगिंग्स, बी इट द वर्ल्डली थिंग्स दैट इज मटीरियल्स, मटेरियलिस्टिक थिंग, या हमारे रिलेशन, ये हमारे बिलोंगिंग्स हैं, हमारे पोजेशन में है. सो ही सेज दैट वी विल हैव टू लर्न टू लिव विदाउट देम नो मैटर वॉट. ही सेज दैट इज द पॉइंट सेज नो वन कैन बाय बैक सच थिंग्स फॉर हिम. अगर कोई चीज़ हमारी खो जाती है तो वो हमारे लिए कोई बाय करके नहीं देने वाला हर बार. तो क्या है, हमें रिस्पॉन्सिबल बनना है. द पोएट सेड सो व्हाई, बिकॉज अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम हर एक चीज़ पैसे से खरीदी नहीं जा सकती. मनी कांट बाय एवरीथिंग फॉर यू. इफ इट डज बाय यू सम मटेरियलिस्टिक थिंग स्टिल, मतलब कोई चीज़ें खरीद के ला सकते हम पैसे से, it will not be able to buy the sense of belongingness. मतलब चीज़ें आ जाएगी लेकिन एक जो इमोशंस है वो हम खरीद नहीं सकते. He says that the boy is learning how to stand up against the sense of lost things. तो अब ये बच्चा बड़ा हो रहा है, वो लर्न कर रहा है या समझ रहा है कि कैसे चीज़ों को संभालना है. And this means that the boy is trying to learn the real truth of life, which tells that you have to accept the sorrows of life. अगर कोई हमारे क्लोज को अगर हम कोई खो जाता है हमारी लाइफ में, जैसे कि वी लूज समबडी इन आवर लाइफ, रिलेशन में कोई, तो वो सॉरोफुल लाइफ में से हमें वापस खड़ा होना पड़ेगा. दिस इज द ट्रूथ ऑफ लाइफ which everyone will have to learn in his or her life. The harsh truth. अब यहाँ पे harsh मतलब है तो कड़वा, लेकिन सच है ये रियलिटी है लाइफ की, of standing up against the difficulties in life, against the miseries of life that everyone will have to bear. So once again, go through the part very much clearly. एंड वर्ड टू वर्ड रीडिंग एक बार फिर से कर लेना, सुन भी लेना, एंड जो भी डाउट्स हैं गिव अस अ कॉल. एंड वंस अगेन थैंक यू वेरी मच. द वीडियोज एज सच रिलेटेड टू द एनिमेटेड मूवीज विल फॉलो इट. थैंक यू वंस अगेन एंड टेक केयर.
Let's take a look at How to Tell Wild Animals by Carolyn Wells. There are many wild animals in the jungles of the East. So, how will you recognize these animals if you happen to come across them? Well, if you see a huge orange animal slowly walking towards you, if he roars as you die, then it is definitely an Asian lion. Or let's say, while roaming in the jungle, you come across a black and yellow striped wild beast. A very simple rule will help you identify this animal. If he eats you, then he's a Bengal tiger. Or if you're walking and happen to find an animal with spots on its back, if he leaps and attacks you, then you can call it a leopard. And it wouldn't help if you cry out in pain. He will just keep on attacking you over and over again. But it's only in jungles that you find wild animals. You can also meet them in your own backyard. You can be sure that it is a bear if he holds you very tightly. This very tight hold is called a bear hug, and it can crush a bear's prey to death. And if you have any further doubts, then one more hug will definitely clear them. Of course, the poet says it is difficult for a beginner to differentiate between wild animals. But even a beginner can distinguish between a crocodile or a hyena. Crocodiles cry while hyenas smile. Finally, the author says that a chameleon is a small lizard with no ears or wings. He can blend with his surroundings. So, if you can't see him sitting on a tree, then you can be sure it's a chameleon and not a lizard. Now let us look at the literary elements of the poem, How to Tell Wild Animals. In the poem, the hyena and crocodile have been personified. Here, the human qualities of smiling and weeping have been given to the hyena and crocodile respectively. The phrases "lep and lep again" and "very, very hard" are examples of alliteration in the poem. The poet has employed poetic license in her use of language in the poem. In some stanzas, she has shortened words like leapt, lep, and dine. She has also framed certain sentences differently in the poem, like novice might nonplus, and if strolling forth a beast you view. By doing so, she not only maintains the rhyme scheme, but also creates a humorous effect in the poem. If strolling forth a beast you view, whose hide with spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you'll know it is the leopard. It will do no good to row with pain, he'll only lep and lep again. Take a look at the first 4 lines in the stanza. The words view and you rhyme with each other. The words peppered and leopard also rhyme with each other. So, let's assign A to view and you, and B to peppered and leopard. Now look at the last 2 lines. In these lines, pain and again rhyme with each other. So, let's assign C to these words. Therefore, the rhyme scheme for this stanza is ABABCC. Let's see what happens in the ball poem by John Berryman. The poet wonders what the little boy will do now that he has lost his ball. The poet notices the ball bouncing down the street and into the water. It is of no use, the poet thinks, to console the boy. The boy, saddened by the loss, will not hear them. The boy just watches the harbor where his ball went down and thinks of all his happy memories with the ball. The poet, sensitive to boy's grief, decides to leave him alone. He also decides against buying the boy another ball. After all, the boy is clearly attached to the ball he has lost, and no other ball will replace it now. Also, the boy needs to understand that it is very easy to lose something. The poet now tells the boy that there will be people who will take away his balls. He will also lose more balls, and no one will buy him a replacement. The boy needs to realize that money and possessions aren't the most important things in life. Finally, the poet says that this incident provides one last lesson for the boy. While he's grieving, he's also learning what it means to overcome loss and survive. This knowledge makes the boy just like any other man who has understood the nature of loss through experience. Let's see the literary elements of the ball poem. Berryman symbolizes the ball in the poem. The loss of the ball is symbolic of the loss of the boy's innocence. It is also symbolic of the boy gaining knowledge on how to experience loss and survive. Finally, it is symbolic of the boy becoming a man. In the poem, the phrases what and buys a ball back are examples of alliteration. Berryman repeats the word ball at various points of the poem. This has two purposes. One, he uses the word on surface to describe the loss of the ball. Second, he uses it as a symbol for the loss of childhood innocence. He also repeats the phrase how to stand up to explain the importance of overcoming grief in the poem. There is no rhyme scheme since the poem has been written in free verse. The poem is about the boy's understanding of loss. Through the loss of the boy learns how the world works and how to deal with it.